If you're a data analyst, analytics engineer, BI analyst, data engineer, or really anyone who works with data, this channel and these videos are made for you. So, as you all might know, AI is changing things very fast. There's a lot of different new tools on the market. There's a lot of conversations happening about it, and companies are scrambling to figure out how they can adopt it, how they can integrate it into their systems. And from the perspective of a data professional, this can be a little scary and intimidating because it's tough to know where to start and how to use it and what the best practices are because it's such a new thing. And also, in the worst case scenario, we're worried that it might make our skill sets irrelevant and might put us out of a job. And so that really leads me to the thesis of this channel and why I'm creating these videos is my goal is to help you, my fellow data professionals, by sharing the lessons I've learned from working with AI and the lessons I've learned from other people about how to leverage AI tools and LLMs to unlock the efficiency, opportunity, and excitement that these tools can offer us. And so, from seasoned data practitioners to people who are just starting out, these videos are made for you and to show you accessible, practical, and value-driven ways of using AI in your day-to-day life when you're working with SQL, taking care of administrative work, building better documentation, building data pipelines, building dashboards. There's so much you can do with these tools. So excited to show you how it's going to make you more relevant, powerful, and efficient and really bring a lot of excitement and fun to your day-to-day work. And so for this first video, I want to share with you 5 key lessons that I've learned from focusing on how to utilize AI within the data space for the last 6 months. But before I do that, I should probably introduce myself. So, my name is Kyle Chalmers, and I've been in the data space for over 8 years now. And I've held a lot of different jobs and titles in that time, but I've focused on managing teams of BI analysts, data engineers, and really have just been focused on how I can support my team and how I can leverage these tools in accelerating our progress and productivity and the value we provide to the business. So, with that, let's get into the lessons I've learned. The first lesson I'd like to share with you is that AI exponentially expands what is possible and how quickly we can accomplish our work, but it still has some constraints and needs to be set up for success. So, there are a wave of new tools that leverage AI that can help you complete tasks a lot quicker than you used to, and can also help you complete tasks and projects that previously would have been outside of your skill set. So the moment that this clicked for me was really when I was able to integrate AI into the systems I use on a day to day basis. And so I was able to give AI actually access to our databases and then provided the context for how to utilize specific tables, different joining criteria, a lot of the different technical details and knowledge that normally I would just have when analyzing data. I was able to provide to AI, and then I was actually able to pull out results from the data I was working with and complete the analysis I was working with. That said, I had to provide it that context, right? And I had to give it the tools and the knowledge to actually have it be set up for success. And so there's work that you need to do in order to really leverage it to its fullest potential. Which leads me to the second thing I've learned is that documentation is no longer a nice to have, it is a necessity. So the nice thing about this is that AI tools can really help you produce documentation, where in the previous world, whenever you were completing a data analysis, building out a dashboard, building out a data pipeline, documentation was typically an afterthought, right? Because you sit down, you complete your work, and you have a long list of other things to do. And so you want to get to that other list of things. And so documentation usually is the box that we leave unchecked because we have to do our other work that we have on our plate. But now with AI, it really makes documentation easy to create, and it also is a necessity because documentation is key for AI understanding our data and our systems and how we work in order for it to be successful. And so there's this level of documentation that I like to call the Goldilocks level of documentation, where it's not too much, meaning that it overwhelms whatever AI tool that you're working with and it starts hallucinating because there's so much that it needs to remember. And there's not too little, where it's making a lot of different assumptions and sometimes very incorrect assumptions about the data that it's working with. But you need to have the level that's just right, where you give the context for what it needs to know, what it needs to accomplish, and a level of knowledge about the environment where it's working for it to be successful. The third lesson I've learned is that there's a lot of buzzwords around AI, say model context protocols, agentic AI, but they're actually really important to learn and understand. And so MCPs, model context protocols, for example, are just ways that AI can standardly interact with tools too. And then agentic AI is, say, I'm a data analytics manager, right? And I have various roles on my data analytics team, where I have a product manager who is managing the reports that we need to produce for the business. I have a quality control analyst whose job it is to actually check the reports to make sure that the data that they're producing is accurate. And then I have a developer, right, where the person might be producing a data pipeline or a analytics dashboard to disperse across the business. So dividing up AI agents like you would a team often helps it be successful, where you're giving it specific context, specific things to focus on. And so that way it's not overwhelmed with a lot of different things that it needs to know. And in model context protocols, which are essentially standard tools that your AI agents can work with, are able to provide AI the access it needs and very consistent functions that it needs to interact with your data. Now, if this sounds complicated, I don't want to overwhelm you. We're going to get into this in later videos for how you can set this up, and we'll make this topic a lot more approachable and very easy to understand and actionable for you. So the fourth thing I've learned is that we'll still have jobs, right? And so this is speaking to the little bit of intimidation, even the fear that comes around using AI in our day-to-day now in the data analytics profession, but we'll need to adapt our skill sets. AI is going to be a part of almost everything we do. The capabilities that it provides us are unlike anything that's come before. There's so many different possibilities, so many different things that we can do now in a much shorter period of time that either would have taken us weeks or months before, or wouldn't have even been possible without us spending an enormous amount of time in learning a new skill set. But with AI, so much more of that is possible, and you can actually eliminate, hopefully, a lot of the parts of the job that you don't like, so you can be thinking about how you can better analyze data, how you can better architect your data environment, how you can better work across teams. And so really what it does is it enables a lot more time for critical and strategic thinking, so you can contribute to the team in a much more valuable way. And you can up your productivity of the value you're able to deliver to the team. So if you're able to learn these tools, then you become more valuable to your organization and more appealing as a candidate when you're going out seeking data analysis jobs. The fifth lesson I've learned is that it is possible to learn and thrive with these tools. So 6 months ago, a little over 6 months ago, I really had used AI like everyone else, where I had done chats with the LLMs, interacted with them online, but not really integrated it with my systems or really dove into how I can make this successful within my day-to-day work and make it an integral part of what I do in my day-to-day. And so over this time, I've done investigation, I've tried to be curious and learn, and what I've learned is that anyone can do this. And especially if you're given the right knowledge, given the opportunity, and you're investing in yourself with the skill set, then I'm confident you'll be able to learn and thrive with AI, no matter if you're an experienced data professional or if you're just starting out in your data journey. Hopefully, this video has been valuable for you guys. I'm excited to share content over the coming weeks and months with you to actually really level up your skill set in working with AI and data and making this channel a fun place to learn and building the community where we can all grow together as professionals in the data space and leveraging AI in what is going to be really a new frontier for this profession. It's really, really exciting time, and so I'm excited to share this with you all. So thanks so much. Please like and subscribe, and I'm excited to share more with you. Take care.